Thank you for me presenting today and for you using your time on this part. So I want to tell you a little bit about our company and my team. I want to tell you about how we have managed to get into the strategic plan in FREJA. I want to give you an overview of our BI and automation platform, and of course a deep insight into the Diver platform with a lot of examples. I hope it will inspire you through the journey that we have been through. So the core business of FREJA is transportation. It is road transport. It is around 85% of our business. It is road transport. Beside of that, we also do sea freight and air freight, projects, warehouse solutions, healthcare logistics, and customs clearance. I have a before and after image of our corporate family tree, because there have happened a lot of things the last couple of years. So for 1.5 years ago, it looked like this. So we were one FREJA group with our different home countries. So FREJA Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Poland. And we use Diver to support all the home countries. But last year we were bought by a big Danish company called USTC, United Shipping and Trading Company, that have a family tree of both bunker oil, tankers, IT, a small leg of logistics, and some other companies. The logistics part was actually the one buying FREJA. And the funny thing is that FREJA was the bigger one. We were the big brother. So SDK Logistics was a small transportation company, but owned by a very rich family. So they had the money to grow through acquisitions. So they bought FREJA, and we have merged SDK Logistics into FREJA, and with the FREJA brand going forward and the organization going forward. FREJA have for many years invested heavily in IT and platforms, and SDK didn't. So FREJA was the perfect platform for growth. SDK is now a part of FREJA, and then we have all the other legs of SDK, SDK Shipping, SDK Cruise, Consultancy, Chartering Solutions, that are other business models than transport. And the first part or phase of that transition was to implement Diver platform in SDK. So we did that last year, meaning that, or not last year, just this year, before summer vacation. So now we have the FREJA dive port and also a SDK dive port, branded in their colors and their logo and so on. So that's really interesting. So now we actually serve two different companies in the same group, but also with data going back and through the different companies. But I will show you that later on. So who we are the BI and automation team. We are 5 members of the team, 2 in Poland. The one with a question mark is starting here at October, so I don't have an image yet. But Pavel and Boise will be in our location in Poland, and the rest of us is in our IT headquarters in Denmark. So myself, I have a bachelor degrees in business administration, master degree in finance, and I've been in FREJA for 6 years. I started in our finance department as a business controller. Then I got the opportunity to start this new finance business partnering department. And quite fast it became more BI, analytics, automation, and that part. So this year we changed the name to BI and automation, but it's still the same. I am 33 years old. I have a daughter and a stepson, and then I live in Horsens in Denmark. Yeah. Okay, so what is the goal with an team like us. It is to help the business and our business partners in making better decisions and deliver better results. That is our overall goal with my department. And Diver is really a big part of how we live up to that goal. It is our primary tool that we use. It is maybe 90% of all our tasks are solved with the Diver platform. So we use it a lot. We are on the strategic plan in FREJA. It is a big thing in our business. And 2 bullets here is on our strategy that BI in all business areas and automation of business processes. So I really think it's a strong statement, and it's also why we use so many resources in this area. We have been on the strategic plan. It's difficult to say for me, strategic plan for nearly 4 years. And why that? I think it is because it helps us in our decision making, both on a low level in our organization, all the way to our top management. They use Diver and the data we provide in there to decision making. We, of course, retrieve a lot of informations, and we also use it to understand our business better than we could else do. We have the overview, so the top management, they have the big overview, and then we can go all the way into the data to the lowest level and really go into the details. The automation part of it helps us improve our processes, it increases our level of service, and it also increases our results. So that is probably why it is such a big thing in FREJA. So how or what did we do to reach to that point? So from day one, we have worked hardly to get commitment from top management. So that is really important. On a regular basis, we also arrange BI and automation workshops in our different offices. So people, and especially new people, they will get knowledge about what is possible. We also launch new solutions on a regular basis. And I think probably the most important part is that we tell about what we do. We tell all the good stories. We do posts on our intranet. We do videos also on the intranet. We write news and case descriptions on emails. And then we have these inspirational workshops with our users. So we do a lot to tell about what we do. And that is, I think, a big part of why we are where we are today. So this is just an image from our intranet where we launch a new area, both with some text and also video, where we showcase the new area. So that works really good. Yeah. So the platform for BI and automation is divided in 2. We have a FREJA platform and we have an SDK platform. The FREJA one is on 7.0 with Measure Factory, but we will update later this year, maybe to 7.2 instead. Like this one, yeah, perfect. And SDK is already on 7.1, will probably also update later this year. Then we also use the Microsoft Power Platform, especially for automation. We use Power Automate for cloud flows, and also in a beautiful combination with Diver. Then we use Kofax RPA as well, but not so much. So Diver is kind of in the middle of it all. It extracts data from a lot of different systems. We have our road transport management system, our air and sea system, our finance, ship management, warehouse management, Dataverse, Microsoft Dataverse, and so on. Really a lot of different sources. We build everything ourselves, of course with support from Infotool in Infotool in Denmark and DI in the Netherlands and Sweden when needed. We use Integrator and Spectra to build our C-bases, and we use Measure Factory or C-plans on top of everything that our users see through DivePort and ProDiver, meaning that there is the measures are centrally defined by us, so one source of truth. The primary platform for our users is DivePort. It is one point of entry for them, and a smaller part of our users also use ProDiver, mostly for pre-made reports. Our project structure is quite simple, I think. We have a project for our core data, C-bases, so that is where we extract the data from the sources and we do the cleaning and so on, and then it goes into our factories after that. We have several different factories. We have finance, road transport, NC, logistics, and so on, one for each business areas. And of course, a lot of other projects. But that's kind of how we do it. This is a screenshot from our core data folder, and as you can see, we have just structured it in different folders in that, and also a lot of different projects. Good. Areas that we cover. We started in road transport when we began this journey with Measure Factory 4 years ago. But now we have a full area for finance, air and sea freight, logistics, sales, our terminals, also IT and quality and environment. And I will try to show you a lot of examples from those areas. First of all, we have some elements that is always on a page. So that makes it quite easy for our users to get the idea of how it works, because it's all the same on each page. So this is from the new solution for SDK. We have time ranges, we have diving capabilities, we can select currencies, and we can also view measure descriptions. And I will show you a little bit more about that. So nearly on all tables, it is possible to change the dimension or dive into the data. That means that both top management and middle management and so on, they actually see nearly the same dashboards. But they can just dive in the data if they want more detail. So we always start on top level, then they can dive really deep into the data. So that's a normal part of all dashboards. They can always change dimension and always dive in the data. They can change the time range, and we use the Measure Factory time range functionality there to select the time range that they want. It's quite nice for them, because then in this example they can both see the actual numbers, they can see the budget, they can see the deviations on a lot of different measures, and they can just select the time range that they actually want. We also use and when we talk about the time range, we also use the Measure Factory current date function. So it's what I have called reporting date here, meaning when we have financial metrics, that the finance department can decide what is the reporting date. So if they haven't closed the month yet, then the reporting date would be the last month and closing date. So it's really easy to when they go in here, it's always the correct numbers. We have just implemented this in in the SDK dive port where they can choose different currencies in a quick view. So and when they change, it will just change the portlet to reflect that currency. We are in the Nordic countries, so we have both Norwegian crowns, Swedish crowns, Danish crowns, euros, and Polish zloty. So it's important to see the numbers in different currencies. So that's quite nice, this functionality. We use Measure Factory macros to add this functionality. So in FREJA, we didn't knew we could do that, the FREJA dive port. So in there we have a page for each currency. So when we update, we will of course change that to this function. We also use a lot of time to define our measures, and we use time on describing our measures. So on every page, the users can see a nice description, the calculations, and also the visual part of how this measure is structured. By just clicking in the right corner, view measure description, then they will see this pop up. So it really makes it transparent what they look at, and they can always go in here and see exactly how this measure is defined. And it's also a Measure Factory function, this description part. Good. Now it's FREJA dive port. It's kind of the same concept. It's easy to navigate around. We have divided the dive port into different business areas. So one for road transport, sea transport, air freight, and so on and so on. And inside a business area, there can of course be other areas. So for example here in finance, we have liquidity management, card management, claims, and so on. When we go into a specific area, for example here, where we focus on liquidity, we most often have a kind of group overview, and it would only be our top management that can see that. So this will give a total overview of the whole group, and then they can dive into the different underlying data if they want to. So here we compare the different FREJA home countries to each other on some KPIs. But they can of course also go into the details and see, for example, like here, account receivable and account payables insights. They have a lot of different quick views, so they can really analyze and filter on exactly what they want. If they want to see customers where they are underinsured, they can just put on a filter. And as you can see here on the right side, the currency part here is not so nice as an SDK because it's 5 different pages. So 5 different pages to maintain when something needs to change. So our finance team really have some good pages here where they can have a deep insight into each individual customer, their accounts receivable, overdue, how many days or how old is the overdue amounts, and so on. They can actually also click on the different rows, the different customers, to have an insight into does someone take action on this overdue amount or not. So they can really go into the details. We have also, when we talk finance, a really good overview about our days sales outstanding. So here, both our finance team and our traffic managers, they can see the time from when we pick up the goods to when we actually receive the money. And as you can see here, it really drops down here, a really positive trend, because we of course want to get the money as fast as possible. So we do a lot of projects where we have people going around in our offices and helping them optimize their processes. And it will be reflected in the data immediately. So it's really nice to have all these dashboards so you can see the development when we do something, some optimizations in the offices. So yeah. Moving to our road transport area, we of course have a lot of different reportings in there, but a new need is live data. So this one is a good example of a change from these historical data to live data. So it is more a kind of operational dashboard. So for our traffic departments, it's of course very important to know where the goods are and to know if we can deliver the goods today, if we have promised to deliver it today. And it's actually quite, it's not so easy for them to see that information in our transport management system. I don't know why, but it is. So we have built these dashboards that updates all the time, so that they are live, where they have a really good overview about all the shipments that should be delivered today. But then here in the middle of the dashboard, they can see if they have gotten the right scans. So did the shipment actually arrived in a terminal? Did it go out from the terminal again? Is it delivered at the customer, and so on? So different time slots through the day, they will go in here and look, okay, all the goods that should be delivered today, these are the ones that isn't delivered yet, or whatever they want to look into. Then they can be proactive, instead of before, where they only knew that these goods wouldn't be delivered because the customer called them and said, we haven't received anything and we haven't heard from you. So it has really helped them. And it's a general trend that we see, that people want more live data, operational dashboards, and so on. So we are working on quite a lot with that. One of our new areas is for our sea freight and air freight. They look exactly the same. So I just have the sea freight here. So here we both have normal tables, but also the map portlet, where we show how many it's called tow when you are in sea. So tow is the one tow is one container or something, and two tow is a big container. So here they can see from what port to what port do they have containers. So quite exciting for them to see. And of course also profitability on each client and each order. Moving on to our sales department, we have made a lot of development at them. So here they can choose a specific customer, see what lanes do we make business together with them, what is the revenue, how many shipments, and they can also look into what did we actually agreed with them, what was the expected revenue, the expected number of shipments, so they can follow up of the budget versus actual numbers. Tender management, it is a huge process in FREJA when we have tenders. So it is these really big agreements that we want to, of course, win. So now we can, the tender department, use Diver to, as a tool to manage all the tenders, and they can report on that to the management. How many did we lose? How many did we win? And so on. I don't know. The time is. Okay, I will. Couple of more minutes. Perfect. So next big thing we are working on is what we call strategic sales. It is with the concept of the DUNS number. I don't know if you use them yourself. It is an international standard or international number assigned to all customers, all VAT numbers in the world. So through this number, we can actually know what is the legal name of a client, what is the corporate family tree, and so on and so on. Because we have a lot of different customer numbers on the same customer. So you don't have the overview about that. But when we have these data in Diver, we can actually summarize our data on different levels in this corporate family tree. And we can also do that both in FREJA, different home countries, but also in our new corporate tree with SDK and FREJA. So they can really work in a more strategic way with the clients. So in this example, we have this Rockwool client. It is the legal name. Diving into that, we have 5 different customer numbers on that, with revenue in all our, or nearly all our different home countries. We wouldn't know that, or at least not so clear as here, if we didn't have this information. So that's what we work on now. Emission, yeah, I will just move fast forward now. To actually the last thing here. So we use Diver to a lot of reporting, both on historical data, now also these more operational dashboards, live data, but we also do some smaller applications. So for a transportation company, it's of course very important to instruct our drivers in where they need to drive, and we can do that in a different ways. But because we don't own the trucks ourselves, we only own the trailer. Every truck and the driver wouldn't use our FREJA driver app, or maybe they cannot read a PDF file generated by our system on their phone because it's too small, the phone. So they actually used a lot of time, our planners used a lot of time to just extracting data from the system into emails in clear text. So we used a couple of days to make this application where they just write in the tour number, and then Diver creates the email and send to the user. And then the user just forward that to the driver and can put in his own notes. So we also use Diver for those kind of automations. Yeah, okay, last slide. I think BI and automation is critical if you want to run a big business. It is important to have a strategy about it and also commitment from the top management. It should be a scalable and effective solution. All our thoughts are centralized around Diver and Measure Factory. And I think especially Measure Factory questions what is right and wrong, and we have through that clear definitions about all our measures. So they are exactly the same wherever people see them. So one source of truth. Yeah.